Hi everyone. So it's been a really long time since I tried to do a voiceover type video, so we'll see how this goes. I just had some time, so I thought I'd put some makeup on my face, and if I didn't talk, then nobody would come and see what I was doing. So I already have the Painterly paint pot on my eyeballs, and now I'm just taking some of the Maybelline Superstay powder foundation just up near my brow to make it a tiny bit lighter. If I had used a more like shadow flat shadow brush, it would have given me a little bit more coverage. So I'm using this Juvia's Place Violets palette. I bought this quite a while ago, like a lot of things, and purple's my favorite color. Purple eyeshadow can be something that even, I think every company kind of struggles with making a purple that works well. So I thought I'd just show how this works. I feel like all the shadows in it are really nice, so I use the lightest matte shade in my crease, and now I'm just going in with the darker shade, and I'm using that Real Techniques brush that's kind of like a MAC 217. And then while I was recording this, I was like, with a black background, I didn't have the little light on to light up the background, and my hair is black, and I'm wearing a black sweatshirt. It's like, wow, that is a lot of black. And can you even see my hair? Yeah, you can sort of see it. So anyway, then I kind of hemmed and hawed for a while over what shadow I wanted to put on, like the lids, and swatched them and whatever. So I decided to just use my fingers to kind of get the majority of the shadow on. A lot of times I'll do that with shimmers. It's just easier to kind of pack it on with your fingers. Some shadows, like they're a little bit too thick, and it will give you too much of a layer to do that. But I feel like the kind of the more standard type formulas usually apply really nicely with fingers. So I just used the more blue-based purple darker shade, and then the kind of also cool toned light purple. And that light purple I think is so pretty. And when this all got like blended in, I feel like it looked so nice. It was just one of those looks where it came together super easily, and I didn't have to like overwork it. It didn't get overwrought, which, a lot of things do. When I'm putting it on, it's just like, this just worked. And I feel like that's kind of how Juvia's Place shadows are for me. That their shimmer shades tend to be pretty flattering on skin that's not like super smooth and young and tight and firm. They aren't that like really thick consistency, so you get a lot of shine without enhancing a lot of texture. So that is just really nice. So now I'm just going back again with that Real Techniques brush that I used in the crease and building up the darker shade on the outside and just kind of blending the little middle shade so that everything kind of works together. Because ideally, with that sort of placement, what you're trying to mimic is like wearing one shade that just has a lot of like reflective color to it, so it's almost like it just naturally looks brighter because your eyeball is like so protruding and rounded. And I feel like with these colors they work together really well that way, so it gives that effect pretty naturally, if that makes any kind of sense. So anyway, I'm going into Tightline with that like little itty bitty eyeliner from LA Girl. That was me. Yes, I've got hair. It's back there. And that's funny. I'm wearing LA Gear, LA Girl, not LA Gear, foundation too. So yeah, that little. I barely have anything left of that little black eyeliner. And so this is the Pro Matte foundation. It's their lightest shade porcelain. It's not, the palest thing on the planet, but it works fine for me. If you're there are definitely people that are more pale than me, and that would not work for them, I'm pretty sure. But the formula is really nice. The only thing you probably may have noticed, I was sniffing the sponge. It does have a scent to it. It's not horrendous. It's not like super duper strong, but it is there. And, it's not a scent I particularly enjoy. So yeah, I'm just trying to go in and kind of hit the spots that I missed the first time around and whatever. This is also one that I found that you can apply with your fingers pretty easily. In my like hiatus of not making videos, a lot of times I didn't want to deal with washing a sponge. Yeah, makeup was becoming very much felt like a hassle in a way. So I was trying to reduce it down to things I didn't mind doing. And this was one that applied with fingers. I didn't have to wash a sponge, I could just kind of press it in and it looked nice. And it wore well. So it's a nice foundation. I'm really pleased with it. I didn't have a lot of expectations. I thought it was going to be darker than it was because a lot of the LA Girl stuff is pretty dark. This is one of the newer shades, but it has been out for quite a while, like everything else. And same for this Wet n Wild concealer. So this is fair beige, maybe. I think there might be another lighter shade. I'm not sure. But it's that photo focus formula, which is really nice. This ended up being like majority drugstore affordable makeup, which is kind of cool. And I've always liked that formula, and the color I had before was a little bit more of like a corrector shade, and this one's just more of a traditional concealer shade for me. And then I'm going in with this Boots number 7. I don't remember the full name of it, but I'll maybe put it on the screen if I remember. And it's very similar to the Laura Mercier setting powder. I think a lot of people kind of proposed it as a dupe to the Laura Mercier powder, and I feel like it sets similarly. It has a slightly different tint to it, but unless you're really packing it on, I don't think you can tell the difference. But it's not, I mean, it's translucent, but it's a little bit more like pinky versus yellowy, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm taking that darker shade. Basically, I'm mimicking the same placement that I did on my upper lids on my lower lids, so just the lighter shade in the middle. I kept getting shadow in my eyeballs. That's what's up with those dramatic eye rolls. So darker shade on the outer parts and lighter shade in the middle. And then I'm also taking the light purple shade in my inner corner, which I feel like having something that's not a traditional inner corner color is always kind of fun, and it adds a lot of kind of personality to the look. And I was really so pleased with how this makeup looked throughout the day, and just the eye makeup, just like it wore better as I went, and I don't know. It was one of those times where I was like kind of reluctant to wash my makeup off at the end of the day because it looks so nice. So the only thing I do wish is that I hadn't used this eyebrow stuff. It's the Anastasia Dip Brow in ash brown, but it just looks way too warm. I think with this foundation, it kind of accentuates that it's warm. And then I ended up using a brown mascara in my brows on top of it, and so that added more warmth. So that was the only thing I was kind of bummed about when I was taking pictures. I'm like, oh dang, these brows are kind of warm. And I haven't dyed my hair in a little while, and the last time I did a touch up around my hairline to just cover the white, I used what I use in my brows, which is actually just like a cool brown. So my hairline is more brown than it is black right now, so I feel like I can kind of get away with slightly warmer brows. But yeah, I wish I had worn just my regular Wet n Wild black eyeliner that I use in my brows, which is what I used in my last Get Ready With Me, which was, I think, the last video I posted, assuming I put this up in the same order as I recorded them. We'll see. And again, I'm just using that wing liner brush from Zoeva. One day I'm gonna figure out how you're supposed to actually say it. And it is the best brush, but I already talked about how lovely it was in my last video. On cheeks, again, another drugstore thing. This is the e.l.f. like matte blush duo in Fiji. I think it's called Matte Fiji. It's really nice. I do have to take a light hand, so I kind of really aggressively tap off, and both colors are really nice. And again, drugstore highlight. Woohoo! This is the JCat. I have no idea what this thing is called, but it's like a light pink, but it just gives a super shiny highlight that doesn't like really accentuate texture in an unpleasant way, surprisingly, considering how shiny it is. It's hard to get that in drugstore or high-end, so it's a beautiful highlight. I'm trying to use like the last dregs of this Lime Crime cherry lip gloss that was a limited edition shade, so I can't get any more of it. It's in Jubilee. It was in a little holiday set, and I just really like it. That formula is good for my lips. It doesn't dry them out. Most glosses do dry out my lips, and it's just like the perfect amount of sheer. That's why I love it so much. For mascara, I'm using this Maybelline like Total Temptation, something like that. And again, another thing that smells funky and oh, yeah, that face, exactly. It's not the worst, but I can smell it throughout the day. It's like I do not want to be smelling some weird floral fragrance from my mascara like when I'm walking around 4 hours after I put it on because it's the fragrance is still lingering. It's just who wants this? Who wants like perfumed eyelashes? I I don't know. What do you have, Jackie Jack? A house. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm using this Maybelline Clump Crusher. It's just plain brown. It's kind of hard to see on your lashes just because it's not very dark at all. It's a very brown. It's not like a black brown. I'm just trying to finish this up, Jack. I'll be done in like a minute, okay? And then you can show me your house. Anyway, so if you are looking for like a brown mascara from the drugstore, this one is a good one. So anyway, that's it. I hope you got something out of this. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, whatever, and I'll see you soon.